Elijah Rojas Show, boy. What's up, guys? Elijah Rojas here. Now, today is officially January 18th, 2026. And 10 years ago on this day, on this day, surprisingly, which at the time I was like 6 years old, I was about to turn 7 that year. It was the year 2016, right? And on January 18th, I bet y'all probably be wondering, what could have happened on January 18th, 2016? Well, I'm going to tell you what happened. I'm going to tell you the answer. A day an innocent father was murdered by cops, which is basically brutal and heartbreaking. Because get this, he had a family, you know? So I'm going to give you a little breakdown about what happened. So I got me some Dr. Pepper, which actually I'm wearing a Dr. Pepper shirt right now, which is like, I just recently got from Walmart. You know what I'm saying? So, as I was saying, this story's going to be a little bit long. So, y'all just, open up a bottle of soda or a can of soda, beer, get your cup of coffee, smoke, vape, whatever the hell you got. Because this story's going to be long. This is a story, that sometimes makes me sad a little bit. This is a story that would make the wife of Daniel Shaver sad, which is who the guy's name is that got killed. So, I'm going to give you a little breakdown. Daniel Shaver was basically a guy who worked as an exterminator. He was basically out of town as a business trip to Arizona. And, he had a wife, he had kids and all that, he was a really nice guy. Innocent guy. And basically, he had these rifles with him in his hotel room in room 502, which I forgot what floor he was in, but he got to the point where I think he got a little drunk. I think he was playing video games on his PS4 because during the aftermath of the shooting, I literally saw like a PS4 when they were taking a picture of his room. So basically, he had like a PS4, and he got drunk, and it got to the point where he decided to point his rifle out the windows in one of the hotel rooms. And then the people down in the pool actually noticed him. And they ran straight into the hotel building to tell the managers that someone was pointing a rifle out the window. So they ended up calling 911. And come to find out, they actually bought all these police officers with their guns like ready, going up to that floor. And demanding Daniel Shaver to get out of that room. They were basically telling Daniel Shaver that room 502, I need a female to step out, which, actually, why are they calling him a female? Oh, I know why. Because, basically, before all this, Daniel Shaver met this girl, and they were in the room together, which I think that's why they said to have the female to step out. So, the woman comes out. She sees the cops point the guns at her. And then Daniel Shaver comes out with his hands up. And he sees the guns pointing at him. So basically, they both get on the ground. And instead of putting the fucking handcuffs on him, guess what they did? They just ordered them to just crawl on their knees, whatever. So basically, the woman gets called on first. So basically, she's, listening to the officer's instructions on what to do, and the woman is crawling, and they put her in handcuffs, and then Daniel Shaver's next. And here's what happened. This is what happens. Daniel Shaver gets up and he accidentally puts his hands behind his back. Well, here's what actually happened. He accidentally doesn't cross his legs, which the officer told him to. And once he did that, the officer told him to keep his legs crossed. So he did, but then he puts his hands behind his back. And then the officer just shouts at him, which all the other officers too. So like, put your fucking hands up! Put your hands down! And what she does. And he's crying. Begging for his life. He's like, please do not shoot me, please. And then the officer says, crawl towards me, you know. And that's what he does. But then the moment of reality came. When he puts his hands on his pants because he had to pull them up. And then freaking Officer Pillsbury points his gun at him and just like 5 shots. 5 shots. You didn't even shoot him once. 5 shots. And Daniel Shaver was pronounced dead at the scene. Which is obviously sad because the officer, the reason why Pillsbury did that is because he said that he thought he was pulling a gun out. Even though the whole time you didn't even see that he was pulling his pants up. Or his shorts. That's what he was doing. The whole time when he was on the floor. He was basically begging for his life. Because, you know, it was just sad, man. The officers were just playing Simon Says on him. What could have been his last game. That's what the officers were doing. They're demanding him to just crawl on his knees. And what did they do? They smoked him. Just because it looks like you're about to pull out a gun, even though the whole time you were just pulling your pants up, does not mean you get to go ahead and just smoke his ass up. Like, what the fuck are they on? Drugs? What are they on? Yeah, I get a little, like, disappointed telling the story because at the time I was 6 years old. But on the end of December of 2017, which was like almost 2 years before after the shooting, they actually dropped the news. They actually released the body cam footage of it. And it was just so disappointing, you know, because he had a wife. He had kids. He had babies. He had a family. He was married. And he died young. You know, you can't be dying young, man. It's just sad. No one deserves to die young, you know. I mean, he was a nice, innocent man. And I bet the family was, like, protesting about this. So, I think in 2018, it got to the point where Officer Brelsberg was charged with murder and all that. And he was fired from his job. He basically lost his job and all that. So, sorry about that. It sounded like I hear his footsteps and everything. But, yeah, the officer got fired from his job. But here's the real part. I think it got to the point where he got 25 years of sentence in prison. Which, if I was the judge, like deadass, if I was the judge, I mean, I would have given him, like, maximum life sentences. Because you know how badly he treated Daniel Shaver? He treated him like he was a piece of shit. He treated him like he didn't even care about him. He was a nice man, bro. Daniel Shaver had his whole life ahead of him, and it just cut out from gunshots and all that kind of shit. I just sometimes hate it when innocent people get killed. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just freaking stupid. But hey, it's a good thing that, you know, justice was served. They took care of Officer Pillsbury's ass. He's in jail now. But yeah, it's been like, I can't believe it's actually been like 10 years since all this like passed. Man, I was just a little kid 10 years ago. I didn't really know what the fuck was going on in the world. How do you really know? So, I think this is how I like end my video right here. Now, I think I did put some videos in the description below. Or maybe I didn't because I don't really know how to. But if I didn't, well, you can search up like, you know, what happened to Daniel Shaver and all that. Because I think this is all I know about him. Know much about this story. But either way, that's the end, you know. It's been 10 years since Daniel Shaver was killed. Remember, innocent people don't need to be killed over all of that. Now, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you guys like and subscribe, and, you know, see you next time. Alright, I'm going to have to cut out the video right now. Bye.